Prior to being arrested, I was homeless and pregnant, and I had been on drugs for most of my life. I was at rock bottom. I didn't know what else to do, and I knew I wanted a different life. I was in my addiction for 14 years. I abused pain pills and methamphetamine, and I landed in jail here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for robbery, among other charges. And the judge offered me 10 years or a program called Women in Recovery.
Despite Oklahoma's high record of female incarceration, Tulsa is home to a unique set of programs aimed at helping struggling mothers stay with their children. Through drug rehabilitation and therapy, Women in Recovery offers resources to help women and their families.
Allowing me to be in Women in Recovery has made a huge difference in my children's life. I mean, obviously my daughter, without Women in Recovery, would not know her mother. But my son, he's been able to participate in therapy, which has helped him deal with a lot of the hurt and pain from living with me in my addiction.
Women in Recovery is just part of Tulsa's integrated approach to connect struggling families with the social services they need. The aim is to keep families together and improve the lives of children.
Had it not been for the systems here in Tulsa, I would be in prison for 10 years. My son would be living with my mom, my daughter would be in a foster home, and my children probably would not even know each other.
Philanthropic billionaire George Kaiser and his family foundation are behind much of the efforts to create a continuous net of support for families. His hope is to bring together a localized, coordinated effort to help end the cycle of poverty in his hometown of Tulsa.
I had observed for a long time that social service interventions are very difficult, very complex, require a lot of course correction, so that if the programs were developed in Tulsa, where we could watch them, we would have a much greater chance of success, so we could make a real difference here to a greater degree than we could elsewhere.
Much of this strategy lies in early education for children through programs like Educare, which is geared to low-income families to get health and learning services for young children during an important part of their development.
When I first got Addison and Educare, I felt like this was an elite daycare. I almost felt out of place, to be honest. Their emphasis on reading and speaking to your children, I didn't know any of the statistics. Like they talk about the 30 million word gap and how just speaking to your baby about normal everyday things can really make them have a language-rich environment and really increase their intelligence as they grow older. But had no one ever taught me that, I never would have known. I mean, I could go on all day about these programs, honestly. It's amazing what my life is now compared to then. When you think about the days before my arrest, being so pregnant with no food and no job and no car, I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have prenatal care. And then to see now that I have a stable home and a car and my driver's license and my kids are thriving in school, that's quite a change in less than 2 years. I feel like everything that's going on right now in Tulsa is definitely a way to stop the cycle.